Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Construction officially started today on the multi-million-dollar Wyndham Resort at the old Sam Lord's Castle site in St. Philip. Earlier today, Ryan Broom caught up with Chairman of the BTI, Everton Walters, and CEO Stuart Lane to find out more about the start of the construction phase.
It has been some time in coming, but construction is officially underway at the Sam Lord site in St. Philip for the new Wyndham Hotel. And I have two very important officials with me to answer the questions about what is going to happen now. So tell me, where exactly are we now in terms of the construction phase?
We are now at another phase, which we are starting the construction. We've already started some civil works, which you can see have actually been completed in some form. And we are now at the point of getting the construction started. We are starting with a block, which we refer to as the H4 block. And that will pick up momentum as we do the other phases as we go on. If you look more to the south, as it were, you are seeing the old Sam Lord's Castle. And so therefore this is more on the eastern side that we are starting the block, and then move towards the center, as it were.
So approximately how many people will be employed here, and that would include both, I guess, the Chinese workers and Barbadian workers?
We expect that the majority of workers here would ultimately be Barbadians. At most, you will have 200 Chinese working here, and that would be at its peak. So you can look forward to seeing many Barbadians on this work site. We estimated some time back that it should reach as much as nearly 1,000 persons, majority obviously Barbadian, at its peak.
So overall, what will this project cost in the end, and are you sure that you can stay within budget?
Yes, construction $200 million US, and yes, we are very much looking forward to staying within budget.
And did you meet with residents? Are the residents also on board with the ongoing construction?
We have already informed them of the commencement of this phase. So, and basically the feedback that I've received is that they're quite happy to see this project at the stage it is at, with construction getting ready to start.
And what about vendors? Can the vendors come to the site to ply their trade?
We know we will have vendors plying the particular trade for food and other elements that would be required for workmen on this site. So overall, I think even now it's going to be beneficial to the community.
Meanwhile, civil works on a vast road network for the resort are well underway, and construction is also well advanced on the accommodation for the Chinese workers who will be on site. Ryan Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Ryan. Wage increases at this time will not help boost productivity in Barbados. This is the view of former President of the National Union of Public Workers, Walter Maloney. Currently, the NUPW is pushing for a 10% increase, but Mr. Maloney disagrees with this move.
There are not only things about getting the 10% increase that the union is supposed to be looking at. There are other things as well too. We need to talk about social protection for the workers. You know what I'm saying? There are things like health that we got to be worried about. Should we be negotiating whether or not a couple more drugs to be put on the formulary so to reduce persons in the public service who suffer from diabetes and all? You know what I'm saying? That is a cost as well. What that does is allow persons to save monies in the pocket as well. Okay? It is not only about getting the extra $100 in your pay pocket.
The former NUPW president was the featured speaker at today's Democratic Labour Party's lunchtime lecture. He also believes there should be a period of grooming for prospective union leaders.
I think one of the problems that we have now, though, is that the structure of the union could be that you can join the union today, elections, and tomorrow you can put your hat in the ring, and once you are popular enough amongst the cadre persons, you can be elected to the highest office in the union. And that is being seen, is being reflected in what is happening now.
Barbados is not taking advantage of the opportunities that emerged during this recession. This is according to Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development, Donville Innes. He is of the view that entrepreneurship can play a role in fostering growth. His remarks came during an entrepreneurship seminar hosted by Spark Global Business at the Radisson Aquatica this morning. He wants fellow countrymen to stop second-rating local enterprises, as he called for barriers that restrict entrepreneurship to be broken.
We must cut out the lot of red tape, paper shuffling, and indecisiveness. Penalize the blockers to progress, or get them the hell out of the system. And that includes politicians, by the way. And feel free to include myself in that if you so desire. We must seriously stop striving to be the most over-regulated society in the Western world. Rules are necessary, but we must ease up on some of the regulations, especially those enshrined in law for an era long gone.
Mr. Innes says Barbados' future lies in developing and sustaining an enterprising private and public sector, one he says that is actively engaged in the global economy.
And these are not just words strung together, but rather perhaps succinctly represent how I feel on the future of this island. And we must ask ourselves, how do we make this happen? I believe we must start to foster a culture of entrepreneurship in our society. At home and at school, we must teach our kids that it's okay to emerge being your own boss, to take risks, to get up and to go again when you fail.
The Anglican Church has embarked on a proactive initiative to target businesses and employees in the Warrens area. With the aid of the Massey Group allowing the church to use its premises, the first service of the Anglican Intentional Ministry in Warrens was held this morning. The initiative was set up to offer Christian counseling and church services during weekdays in the area. Speaking after the inaugural service, Anglican Bishop, the Most Reverend Dr. the Honorable John Holder, said Barbadians must start to make the connection between business and faith.
We are hoping that our ministry in Warrens will make the very important point that there's a connection somewhere. Not only in terms of the people who may be there, who may be Christians, but the way we conduct our business, that has something to say about our faith, about our belief in God, and how we should order our life as Christians and as religious persons in this world.
The bishop dismissed suggestions that Barbadian society has disintegrated as a result of recent violent crimes.
Every generation will identify some things that are happening around them in this society that they think suggests that we're living at the worst time. That is not true. That's not true. In each era, we have certain issues that we must deal with. If in our era it's violence, in previous eras, there were several other issues we're dealing with. This doesn't mean we don't need to tackle and to address with a measure of urgency what may be going wrong in the society. We do that. But I am not one to believe that the level of violence we have here or elsewhere will suggest that we live in at the worst time.
Well, we're following a rather bizarre story tonight as news has broken that Jehovah's Witnesses across the globe are trying to mobilize in the face of persecution. In a stark crackdown, Russia's Justice Ministry has asked the country's Supreme Court to declare the Jehovah's Witnesses an extremist group. Joining us live now is media correspondent of the Barbados branch of the Jehovah's Witnesses, David Gill. David, good evening.
Thank you very much, Shane. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful to have you. Okay, so tell me, where do I start? What is happening? What are Barbadian Jehovah's Witnesses doing?
Well, for the last 3 weeks, you would have seen, and the public would have seen, Shane, that all 2,542 Jehovah's Witnesses in the island have been inviting individuals, the public, to come to the memorial celebration of Jesus' death in another 11 days on the Tuesday, the 11th of April. And we have a very important theme, one that really is everyone's dream: peace, health, and prosperity. But that's really not the reason why we're here tonight. We are here tonight because of the deteriorating situation of Jehovah's Witnesses in Russia. The Ministry of Justice filed that directive that you spoke about with the Supreme Court in Russia, seeking to declare Jehovah's Witnesses, the religious organization, the administrative center of Jehovah's Witnesses, to be extremists, to ban its activity and to liquidate it. And what that contemplates, Shane, is that over 2,000 properties, like Kingdom Halls as we would know them, would be confiscated. Then each of the 175,000 Jehovah's Witnesses that we have in Russia Federation could be criminally prosecuted just for meeting for worship or reading the Bible together or talking to others about their faith.
So what are Barbadians doing?
Well, first of all, what makes this situation, Shane, and I'll get to that in a moment, what makes this situation so urgent and pressing is that the Supreme Court decided to hear this case next Wednesday, the 5th of April, and they're giving us no preliminary hearing or discussion. So here, what has been happening is we've been encouraged to join in a global letter writing campaign, all of Jehovah's Witnesses, to draw the attention of the authorities in Russia to get them to do at least 3 things: to stop the repression of Jehovah's Witnesses in Russia, to stop misapplying legislation really meant for extremism to the peaceful worship of Jehovah's people, and thirdly, to ensure that Jehovah's Witnesses can peacefully enjoy freedom of religion and assembly without interference as guaranteed by the very Constitution of Russia. Now, all of this information is available to the public on jaw.org website. All individuals need to do is to click on Newsroom and click on Legal Developments, and all of the information, the court cases, the verdicts that have been handed down by the European Court of Justice, everything is there that individuals can fully apprise themselves of. But the situation is a very dire one because, as I said, the Supreme Court meets
on April
next Wednesday.
On 5th. So if the Supreme Court meets and that order is passed, can Jehovah's Witnesses in Russia recover from that?
Well, of course, worship will carry on. But imagine that, suppose you and I were having a conversation with the Bible, we could be we could be arrested and criminally prosecuted. That is unacceptable, and it really is provision is made for that in the very constitution of the Russian Federation, but they are ignoring, or they are choosing to ignore it in our case.
So I've been following this story, and I've seen footage of the Russian authorities are acting on having found certain literature inside of the churches in the Kingdom Halls in Russia. Certain literature they found that they deemed that they're extremist books. What kind of literature are these police finding to make them try to pass this order?
Well, even the very Bible which we use is considered, is banned among the shipments that have been banned. But the brochure that we are using right now widely in Barbados, Listen to God brochure, which is just pictures to help individuals who do not read well, but who can understand what's depicted in the pictures. One picture is worth 1,000 words. They have listed that brochure, for example, as extremists and banned it.
Can you think of anything that anyone, Russia or anyone else, that would lead them to believe that Jehovah's Witnesses are extremists? Can you think of anything?
No, we are peace-loving people, and your own experience and our experience here in Barbados and globally shows that we are peace-loving people. We pray for peace because in the scriptures we are asked to pray for peace. We pray for peace for the same Russian government in order that we would be able to carry on with our worship in a peaceful environment, benefiting the lives of all the individuals with whom we interact. Imagine what I said at the very beginning. Our theme for the memorial celebration is peace, health, and prosperity. Does that sound extremist to you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So, what in Barbados? What would you say are the Barbadians who are not witnesses? What is their reaction? Let's bring it home a bit. What are their reactions to witnesses in Barbados?
Watching the news, non-witness Barbadians and all right-minded individuals are very concerned at what they see, because they know that some of the charges that have been leveled at Jehovah's Witnesses, and others too, I speak about Jehovah's Witnesses, but there are others too, some of those charges have no basis in reality.
Okay.
Some of those charges, Shane, are bogus.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up now. So that was David Gill, media correspondent of Jehovah's Witnesses, the branch here in Barbados. Okay, that is where we take a break now and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Register now for the RBC Race for the Kids 5K Run and Walk in support of the UWI Cave Hill Campus Scholarship Fund. Visit our website or see press for details. RBC Royal Bank, it's all about you.
Sandals, sandals, sandals galore. Megville gives you ladies sandals for this week only. Monday to Saturday, any pair of sandals for only $25. So go to Megville on Tudor Street, High Street and Palmetto Street for any pair of sandals for only $25. This week only, Monday to Saturday.
A lot of people think that fast bikes are cool. And the girls, surely the guys who ride them. But, like so many things about life, you gotta be careful. Having sex without a condom is like riding a bike without a helmet. It's just plain dumb. It's okay to have fun as long as you're smart about it. My name is Daniel the Lion Fortress, and I'm different, and I'm making a difference.
Live up. Love, protect, respect.
Amid calls for the Barbados Secondary School's entrance examination, often called the 11+, to be scrapped, Minister of Education Ronald Jones is not yet sold on the idea.
My mind is still very open on this. This is a transfer exam that moves students across Barbados into different schools. We have not been able to find a transfer mechanism based upon the historical evolution of education in Barbados. That's one of the difficulties somehow. These are the students from 2000 to 2015. If they fluctuate from year to year, who do the exam. So 2015 was 34, 82. Last year was slightly lower than that. This year is going to be just slightly lower than that, 2017.
A visiting retired education official is telling Barbados that clean schools, a safe environment, and even colors make a difference in learning in a learning institution. Professor Emeritus Linda Lemasters of United States says there are studies that support this.
Look it up. Carol Cash, she got her doctorate at Virginia Tech, or Virginia Institute of Technology and Polytechnic, Virginia, yes, Institute of Technology and Polytechnic. But what she found was, when she surveyed the principals across the state of Virginia, that these outside things that we can see often influence the effectiveness of the teacher and the student, because that's what they interacted with every day.
Despite the positive direction Barbados has taken over the past century in the way of infrastructural and economic development, the island's newest centenarian is calling for another standard to be raised. Exciting, bubbly, and young at heart are just a few words that could be easily describe Sheila Armstrong, who celebrated her 100th birthday on Wednesday. Mrs. Armstrong says the Governor-General, Sir Elliot Bulger's visit was one of the highlights of her celebration.
We had a time, fun, so much fun, and I had him carrying all around the world, and he carried me all around the world. But it was very good, you know, because man, he was like a boy. He was sitting right there in that chair.
Mrs. Armstrong, a nurse from the age of 17, appears to be a feminist in her own right. She says she's pleased with the progress of Barbadian women over the years, saying when she got married, she couldn't stay in the public service as it was against government policy. Now she's concerned about other negatives creeping in.
Are you happier with how things are in Barbados now?
I mean, happy with the lift of Barbados, but not with the behavior of the children. And the people, the young men, like to think that they are born to shoot. Like all they want to do is kill somebody to get what they want. They're carrying to a funeral, they're going to a funeral, they're carrying a gun. You think the head's good?
Her daughter, Dolly Armstrong, says her mother was always a generous woman, but a disciplinarian as well. She believes the fact that she has reached this milestone is a testament to her resilience.
Her twin sister died just before she turned 90, and at that time my mom looked at a true indication of her character and her spirit. She said, "I will not be following you."
Happy belated birthday, Mrs. Armstrong. After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.